Hamza.
As always, to welcome you all to this consultative meeting. Only 3 weeks ago, on the 8th of October 2021, we held an emergency meeting to brief you on our preparations for the Anambra State governorship election. Once again, the Commission considers it appropriate to meet with leaders of political parties at the national level for a final briefing ahead of a wider stakeholders meeting next week in Oka. At that meeting, the Commission will interact with all stakeholders, including leaders of political parties at the state level, the candidates for the election, civil society organizations, the media, security agencies, traditional rulers, as well as religious and community leaders. Let me reassure you that the Commission is ready for the Anambra State governorship election next weekend. We have moved all non-sensitive materials for the election to the 21 local government areas of the state. As usual, the Central Bank of Nigeria is handling the delivery of sensitive materials to the state on schedule. Our office in Oka is arranging for stakeholders to inspect the materials at the premises of the Central Bank in Oka. As is the case in all elections, the sensitive materials are moved under security escort to each local government area, where they are distributed to the registration areas or wards, and finally to polling units on election day. I urge you to inform your party agents to be present for inspection of the materials at the CBN and to follow the movement of the materials to the various locations should you choose to do so. 3 weeks ago, the Commission published the register of voters for the Anambra governorship election precisely on the 7th of October 2021, that is 30 days to the election as required by law. Each of the 18 parties was given a soft copy of the entire register. In addition to meeting the requirements of the law, the presentation of the register is significant for another reason. The Anambra governorship election is the first that voting is taking place in polling units since the recent successful conversion of voting points to polling units arising from the expansion of voter access to the polling units in Nigeria. An additional 1,112 polling units were established in Anambra State, in addition to the existing 4,608 locations. This brings the total number of polling units in the state to 5,720. Voters were encouraged to seize the opportunity of the continuous voter registration exercise to transfer to the new polling units most convenient for them. Many did not do so. This can be partly attributed to the security situation in the state, which has affected the Commission's pre-election outdoor activities, including voter education and sensitization. The voters may also have been more circumspect in asking for transfer to the new polling units. At the same time, the Commission did not use its powers under Section 42 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended to allot voters to the new polling units in order to minimize the disruptions that may occur from such a decision in view of the forthcoming governorship election. Consequently, out of the 5,720 polling units in Anambra State, 86, representing 1.5%, have no voters at all. The Commission will not be deploying personnel and materials to these polling units. Furthermore, 894, that is 15.6% of the polling units, have between 1 and 49 voters. Election will hold in these polling units. Even while we have 1 voter in a polling unit, we'll deliver personnel and materials to conduct election for that voter. It's the voter's democratic right to vote in election. We will continue to work with all stakeholders to ensure that all polling units have voters allotted to them ahead of the 2023 general election. Meanwhile, in our avowed commitment to transparency, the Commission has compiled a comprehensive list of all the polling units without voters, as well as those having under 50 registered voters. Copies of the list will be made available to all political parties at this meeting. The same document will also be uploaded on our website and social media platforms for public information. In the document, you will see the complete list of these polling units distributed by local governments, by wards, by names of the polling units, by the delimitation details, and the number of voters. As required by law, we requested political parties to upload the names and other personal details of their polling agents to a dedicated portal at least 2 weeks to the election. These agents are your representatives at the polling units and the various collation centers. The deadline was October 21st, 2021. While 17 out of 18 political parties nominated their polling agents for all or a substantial number of the polling units and collation centers, one political party failed to nominate a single agent for any polling unit or collation center, although it has a governorship candidate and a running mate participating in the election. We have shared the detailed breakdown of the nominations of polling agents by political parties. And on that list, you will see the party that I'm referring to. With just a few days to the Anambra election, it is our hope that any lingering gray areas will be discussed and addressed at this meeting. We'll also brief you about the assurances we received from the security agencies and the outcome of our interactive meeting with the Joint Committee of the National Assembly on Wednesday this week. The Commission appreciates the presence of chairmen and leaders of political parties and for honoring our invitation to this meeting, despite the very short notice and in the middle of your preparations for the Anambra state governorship election and other party activities. On this note, I want to thank you all, and may God bless our efforts.
Thank you. We have just heard from the Commission. I'm sure that my colleagues who are the nation's political leaders will weigh in on this as we progress. I'm also sure that mixed feelings will trade the Commission's information. But as core stakeholders in the political and electoral ecosystem, we will guide our lines in preparation for the challenges ahead. 20 days ago, when we met in these hallowed chambers for a briefing on efforts made so far to institute credible, free, fair, and credible, inclusive, and safety-laden polls in the country, with the update highlighted more with a high level of embracement and use of cutting-edge technology to conduct elections in the country, and further update on preparations being made for the Anambra gubernatorial polls, we never envisaged that we would be called upon so soon for another special briefing. The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, is not unmindful of the intense quibbling and vicissitudes occurring in the polity with the upcoming polls in Anambra, posing greater challenge to the Commission, for which we have prevailed on our candidates to maintain highest decorum and play by the rules, and to ensure that they rein in their supporters to conduct themselves responsibly and statesmanlike. We are glad to inform the Commission that so far we have not recorded any untoward case of inter-party headbutts. Even the intra-party misgivings that affected some parties have been managed successfully. This notwithstanding, it has not yielded the desired comfort that will provoke critical mass of electors to go out and vote. Sadly, the gubernatorial candidate for Labour Party in Anambra State, Chief Obiora Agbasimolo, who was kidnapped months back, had not been let off the hook, even with millions paid as ransom by his family and well-wishers to the kidnappers. It is a terrifying situation. In the week, unverified reports across multiplicity of media had it that over several thousands of ad hoc staff recruited for the post are declining to go to the state on account of the high insecurity in the state. We are sure the Commission will address this. Indeed, the 2021 Anambra gubernatorial post has not only been adjudged as the most expensive by credible pollsters with retinue of billionaires in hard currency struggling it out. This equally was validated by the Commission a few days ago as it attested that it has cost it huge financial and material investment. On the flip side, the journey to this election has been strewn with pallets of uncertainties. Not that the Commission had not prepared enough for it, nor the political parties ill-equipped to participate, but the actions and inaction of non-state actors seem to be throwing spanners in the works as wanton killings and destruction of property have continued unabated. Truth is that the people of Anambra are scared stiff and have been cowed to stay indoors for the greater part of the days in the last few months. You see this on their faces, you sense this in their air they breathe. You behold fear-stricken population fighting to fend for themselves in the wave of brutal and conscienceless attack on their lives and property. For a proper, well-credentialed poll with complements of acceptable electoral best practices to be held in an environment as this is most unlikely. Electoral polls literature across the globe testify to this. We encourage the Commission to put their best leg forward as we forge ahead for this election. With all that is taking place there, with the huge money playing its role as it is doing, with the state playing her role as they are doing, and currently still figuring out how possibly they can creatively tame the audacity of the so-called rascal aggressors. But those we do fear might not play their role are the people that are going to vote. It follows, therefore, that the money may be there, the state may have its way, but to draw the people out to vote in mass might not be that too easy. The people are torn between two forces. On one hand is a force driven by credible and genuine motivation to sanitize the Anambra polity for peaceful polls to take place. On another hand is a band of non-state actors who are adept in guerrilla antics. They show up and disappear, ducking and causing havoc, which ultimately may lead to collateral damage in the face of major clash. I'm sure the Commission is aware of this and are taking very strong and cogent steps to address this as well. It is acknowledgement of this disincentive which might usher high voter apathy that we are deeply concerned with, and we want this to be also addressed. As we forge ahead for the polls, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, hopes and prays for successful polls in the states. I wish us all a productive deliberation. God bless Nigeria, and God bless our efforts. Thank you all.